Good morning and welcome to the daily cyber briefing for Monday, the 8th of July. I'm Stephen Ridgway. So I'm going to kick off with something that's close to my heart, and at least one other person from that security company. The Husky Owners Forum website was defaced recently, 4th of July. There was a data breach of user data, 16,000 records. You wouldn't think there were 16,000 people who had Huskies, but there you are. So if you are a Husky owner and you are part of the Husky Owners Forum, be aware the compromised data includes dates of birth, email addresses, time zones, usernames, and so on. Watch out for that one. Selfie-based authentication is something that is currently under investigation in a lot of organisations. These attempts to move towards identifying, not necessarily authenticating, but identifying your customers in a world where increasingly all things are done online, including certainly post-pandemic. A lot of things that people used to do by going into a store or going into a bank or whatever are now done exclusively online. There is a bit of a move towards users trying to organizations trying to identify users by checking that the person that is logged in is actually the person who's logged in. So sorts of things are, using, normally it's to do with like using a camera and demonstrating that you are actually there. Well, there's a couple of things that are challenging with this. I mean, the first one is historically the proof of life stuff has been a bit iffy. So could you trick these systems by, for example, holding up a photograph? The answer was historically yes, increasingly no. But other things that are being asked for, I mean, none of this stuff I think is particularly immune to be spoofed. So I know of certain banks that have said you have to go on camera and record a video of you holding up a piece of paper with a particular phrase on it, or whatever it might be, dates and all sorts of things get asked for, which sounds great, except that actually that stuff can be pretty easily edited in real time. And talking of which, deep fakes are surprisingly good at replacing your face or the face of the attacker with your face, for example. So I'm not convinced that these selfie-based identification processes are particularly robust. They are, though, becoming more common. Vietnam is now requiring face scans for phone banking apps. You can't get around it, which is interesting considering that Vietnam is often ranked pretty low when it comes to internet privacy or cybersecurity. We'll have to see where this goes. I think there are some quite big people that he tried to use this sort of stuff. I can't remember whether it was something or other. It was either wasn't LinkedIn. I don't think it might have been Google that required pictures of of me holding up something in order to recover an account. I didn't think it was particularly clever at the time. But yeah, I think things are getting better. Liveness checks are making, because at the moment there's a trade in verification stills, as in photographs on the dark web, but those will become increasingly useless as liveness checks improve. But yeah, what can we do? Don't know. Comes back down to the biometrics is probably not a great way of identifying people remotely. Unless it's DNA, of course. But then again, that can equally, that can be, the whole thing is spoofable but immutable in the sense that you can't change your biometrics. And so it's not been a terribly exciting weekend from a cyber perspective, unless I've missed something, which I'm sure people will tell me if I have. But something that did crop up was that OpenAI kind of accidentally, possibly not quite on purpose really, didn't bother to report a data breach last year. So OpenAI has not been in a great place from cybersecurity perspective, but it does appear that at some point in 2023, there was a breach of its systems that allowed access to anybody outside the organization, and that the ChatGPT app for macOS was coded without any regard at all for user privacy. So that's not good. OpenAI chose not to make the news of the breach public or tell anyone in law enforcement. They say because none of the actual builds were compromised. Execs disclosed some information to employees but played it down. Yeah, it's perhaps not good optics for OpenAI at the moment with this, and it will undoubtedly, there is going to be some fallout from this, and I would suspect some commercial fallout from this as well, given the fact that OpenAI is one of the leading AI platforms, but you really do need to be able to trust them. Anyway, that's all from me for this morning. Hope you have a good start to the week, and I shall speak to you all again.